Hey everyone, it's Josh here with On the Wrong Lead. I am enjoying a nice, lovely, refreshing Scotch highball here. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about identifying lone speed, or maybe, might call it a loose horse or a horse that might get loose on the lead. For some of you beginners, there's a couple of different terms that people might use to describe this type of situation. I was talking to our good friend Tom, and he mentioned, that it's probably one of the first things that a new player might want to try to identify, because it's an easy way to find a pace scenario that is going to be an extreme pace scenario, which means either there's not a lot of speed and there's one lone speed horse, or maybe there's too much speed and a horse is going to come from the outside off the pace and pass up a bunch of tired horses and win. So we'll talk a little bit more in depth on pace, but since this is one of our Fast Five episodes, don't want to get too in the deep here. So loose horse, it's gonna be a horse that gets on the lead and is not going to get contested very much. Is probably going to create a lot of separation from itself and the rest of the pack, and the horse might get a little brave and just run off with it and win. So I use Brisnet 95% of the time, except when I get really cold. Sometimes I'll switch off, and usually it gets worse before I switch back. So stick to what you know. But I use Brisnet, and one of the things that I use to help me identify exactly, what the pace scenario and the pace picture is going to look like is this race summary down here. I'm looking at the first race at Belmont on Thursday. Um, I didn't update I didn't update for scratches here. All right, so there were no changes in the race, but I did go ahead and I highlighted the E horses here, who are the horses that have shown an early run style. Now this is a maiden claiming race, so some of these horses don't have a lot of established run, so you see a lot of NAs here, but uh, we have three E horses in I believe it's a 9-horse field. So that's pretty normal. Once you start to see, 50% or more of the race really want to be an E or EP style horse, and you see a high PTS number here, points. These are the speed points. You see numbers that are like 6 or greater. That's when you start thinking about a pace meltdown. But like I said, we'll get into pace deeper into another video. But here we go. We got 3 early pace horses, but one thing that does stick out to me is we got this one E8. 8 is the highest rating you can have on the Brisnet scale. So when I look at the rest of them, I see once an NA6. So this horse is probably gonna try and push the pace a little bit. But whenever I see a speed horse that has a points number that's 2 above the next highest, and I see these other E horses, they don't really have real high speed points. And then when I look at the E horses, their average pace numbers are much lower than ink spots. This is starting to kind of tell me that, hey, this horse might get loose on the lead, especially when you look at the best pace numbers and you notice that the best pace numbers just absolutely tower over any other horse in here. So let's take a look at Inkspot's form real quick. All ones. You see ones at first call, ones. You see a couple 2s and 3s, but all ones, 1, 1, 1. So it looks like this horse has shown some speed and probably faded. But, with the exception of maybe this Aqueduct race, which is also the best race he's run, I mean, he was pretty contested. He had somebody here. He was in hand and he just tired out. But he was coming off a layoff. So, it's starting to get me thinking like, hey, maybe if this horse gets out fast enough and doesn't get bothered much, I mean, he can get loose and go. So just kind of like I said, it's just a real elementary look at it. I'm looking for an E horse that's got a huge speed point number. That's got the best E1 and E2 speed ratings, usually in average and in best. And the next highest horse that's got speed points is going to be less than two or more less than whatever. So if it's like a 7 E7 and you see a bunch of fives, that's going to show me that hey, this horse could get loose. But why don't we just take a look at the replay real quick here?
There in the gate. And the rough. From the inside, it's Breeze Bayou going out for the early lead.
You see Breeze Bayou was the other horse that I had mentioned that
right
might
on the outside. So three of them across the track for the early lead.
That might have contested for the lead. The 2 is also out there, but look at the 4. The 4 is going to get out there. He's going to cross over and he's going to create some separation. Now the pace is somewhat fast, 21 and 4. But it looks like the horse is kind of taking a breather right now, and the speed horses aren't really catching up to him. So right now at this point, all you're worried about is with some of these horses coming from the back. He's put the 2 speed horses away. We'll see if this 5 can get up. This 8 maybe, but it doesn't look like it. But it looks like the 4 is just loose. The 4 is kind of tiring a little bit, but he's got so much separation right now. I mean, the only threat here to him is the 5. He gets over to the rail and is just, getting there. This is the part where you're starting to pray for the wire, and prayers are rarely met. However, the 4 goes ahead and wins at a decent price. So that's just a quick look at how I might try and look at a race and see if I can, find some lone speed, get that horse loose on the lead, and 8-1 morning line. I think he closed at 6-1. There were a couple of short price horses there, and hey, that was a nice little win to start the card. So, see you guys.